Hello everyone, I'm Ryan Hayashi. Welcome to my studio, Hayashi Dojo in Mannheim, Germany. The topic of today's talk, magic competitions. I have my magic students, YouTube subscribers, and fans who write me online asking me about competitions in magic. I have a lot of experience, I'll share that with you now, trying to clarify the how, why, and what's the point of doing magic competitions. Okay, I've done a lot of these things. Between 2001, my first competition, and 2018, my last one, which was the F.I.S.M World Championships of Magic held in Busan, South Korea. I've done 18 years of solid competition, and I'm entering my next 3-year cycle, starting this year with the 2019 preliminary eliminations. If we make it past, I'm performing together with my son Johnny. Next year, 2020, and then the next World Championships will be in my home country of Canada in 2021. Okay, Shin Lim, if you're a fan of magic, you probably know the name, started out in competition magic. He competed within the IBM, the American International Brotherhood of Magicians National Championships. Eric Chen, who's now showing amazing close-up work on America's Got Talent, also was winner of the 2018 F.I.S.M World Championships, performing against me, beating me out in my own category, but you know, what can you do? That's life. You can learn a lot from competition. It's not the defining factor of somebody being good in their craft, but when you look at, it's like having a driver's license. We can always argue that there are people with their driver's license who don't know how to drive. True enough. We can always look at any field, be them architects or dentists or physiotherapists or whatnot, who have no clue and don't know what they're doing and somehow, I don't know, got their qualifications on paper. So you could argue that as well. Are there weak acts that manage to win an award at some national competition or maybe even at the international level? Yeah. Are there strong performers or strong acts out there who've never entered competition? Yeah. But on the other hand, for the general everyman, and that's how I started out. I didn't have any friends in high places in the magic world. I didn't have anybody in my family, no relatives. My dad, none of them were performers or knew anything about magic. So where do you start? I just followed the most basic formula that you gotta go to where you can measure yourself. You know what I mean? Bruce Lee, when you study his career, started to get his name out there within the Hollywood scene by showing up at the American martial arts tournaments. Arnold Schwarzenegger was competing within the European bodybuilding championships and worked his way up to Mr. Olympia. And the list goes on and on. So you gotta start somewhere, but if you don't actually put your work out there and measure it against others, your colleagues, relative to, you know, what's out there, you don't really know where you stand. You know, then you run the danger of always thinking you're the most awesome singer, dancer, rapper, whatever, magic guy out there, and then you just, if you haven't seen what's out there, you have no right to make that assumption because you don't know what you're talking about. Now, I won't name names, but I'll just give a perfect example of this. I was, this was 3 or 4 years ago now, I was asked by my city of Mannheim to be one of the star judges for our small local city talent competition. It was run by the city of Mannheim. I was honored, it was fun, and I got to watch a lot of young people, I believe most of them looked between 11 or 12 up to 16, 17-ish. We had dance crews, we had rappers, we had singers, we had all kinds of different acts. And one of the performers was a young fellow who ran up to me with excited eyes and said to me in German, "Hey, du bist auch Magier." He said, "Hey, I've heard you're a magician too," which was the first indicator that somebody had just mentioned to him that one of the judges did magic. Okay, Apparently he wasn't involved enough in the magic world to have heard of me anywhere. All right, whatever. Some people out there live in a bubble. So I said, yeah. And his answer was, yeah, ich bin Barmagier. I'm a bar magician. And I said, yo, good luck to you. I look forward to seeing what you're going to do. It's to protect the innocent that I'm not going to mention names because the act was very weak. He got on stage in front of a good 200 plus person crowd. It was probably closer to 300 people in the audience on a raised stage, which was a good meter or 3 feet above the seated audience. And he refused from the tone technic, I'm speaking German, from the sound technician a headset mic, which would have given him his hands free, and he got up on stage and started mumbling and nobody could hear him. So I said, stop. I said to the sound technician, give the poor kid a mic. He didn't want it. I don't care. Put it on his head. We can't hear him. I'm one of the judges. Can any of you guys hear him? No. This panel of judges, we can't hear him. And, you know, we had impressive judges. One of them runs, if you're familiar with Mannheim, the Capitol Theater, so he regularly works with show people. Another one came from the Musik Academy, which is partially run by Xavier Naidoo. So, you know, people who have some experience. It's fair enough, right? All right, give him a... And then he said, I need a volunteer, and asks up one person from the audience, faces that person, and starts doing a card trick for one person. We couldn't see anything. So I said, no, stop. You know, are you performing for one person, or at least the panel of judges were in the first row, or for, you know, the few hundred people here? He didn't get it. And then for his big closing trick, he asked up 5 more spectators, gave them no direction as to where to stand, and they naturally formed a semicircle in front of him, blocking the view, so all we saw were 5 backs staring at his hands. Now, you know, where this story stems from is from the danger of, you know, if you don't perform outside of your small circle of friends or your 2 or 3 best buddies who think you're the most amazing magician they've ever seen, you will, in your world, be the most amazing magician you've ever seen, because you've never seen anything better. So, having said that, I do encourage my magic students, now that I'm teaching magic, the Hayashi Magic Academy, I encourage them to seriously consider competing. It sets a place, a date, and a deadline to generate your strongest possible act. That's it. And anybody who willingly accepts that challenge, you know, has to get their act together and put some serious work into their competition act. Now, having done this for 18 years, I know that most serious competitors put in a minimum of 2 to 3 years, and that especially within the German system, their goal is to make it as far as they can within the next 3-year cycle. So what does this involve? It involves being able to put together your most effective entertainment piece within a given time limit. And by F.I.S.M. F.I.S.M. World Championship Magic Competition rules, that's 10 minutes. If it's shorter than 5 minutes, they don't consider it a complete act. Longer than 10 minutes, you're automatically disqualified, so it's got a time limit. They offer 8 different categories, 5 stage categories, 3 table categories. The 5 international F.I.S.M. stage categories are comedy, you're supposed to be funny. Only being funny, not enough magic content, you're going to lose points. Grand illusion, this is huge motorcycle, elephant, tiger, 10 dancing girls jumping out of a little box stuff, okay? Manipulation, okay? Just enter the word in YouTube, you'll see it's the classic manipulation is usually with cards, balls, being able to produce objects with your hands, but it's large enough and stand up that people can watch it on a theater stage. We have, what am I missing? Comedy, grand illusion, manipulation, mental magic. So these are the mentalists, mind reading, hypnosis presentation, manipulating thought processes. Okay, so it's highly verbal, but you're supposed to actually create the impression of psychological knowledge or mental abilities or the telepathic ability to read or control human thoughts. Okay? Then we have general magic, that's the rest. Now, those 5 categories do not generally, as a rule, if the competition has it as a bonus, it's okay, but as part of the competition judging, they don't have a video camera on you and they don't project it large screen. What the audience and the judges see on stage is what they see on stage. Then we have the 3 smaller categories where the acts do get a video camera on them and it's blown up large for everyone to see. They are micro magic, coins or small objects that you can perform with in your hands or laying on a table. For example, for those who know my Penn and Teller Fool Us act, my Matrix act was a micro magic act. These are the 3 close-up categories. So what we generally call close-up in English, they refer to as micro magic. Card magic is all with cards, obviously. And then parlor magic, this is sort of a stand-up room full of people, but it's visible enough that more than 3 to 5 people can see it. This would be for a meeting room where 30 plus people can easily just look at you standing in the room and see what you're performing. Now, I see magic competition like a sport. It has its rules, you have to train for it, you have to follow the current trends, and it's a lot better for you if you've done some research and know what successfully has worked in the past and know what you're up against. If you have some idea of what your competition looks like or what the current favored trends are in the art, this will help you. If you just, of course, it comes with experience, so a first-time competitor will probably not have as much experience as somebody who's competed over years. But nowadays with the internet, we can do our research and we can take a look at what competition magic looks like. Micro Magic 2018 winner, Eric Chen, his White Ribbon Act. That's what it looks like, that's the standard. Shin Lim, his Dream Act with the smoke and card coming from his mouth, 2015 winner. That's the standard, that's what it looks like. In order to compete with those guys on an international or world level, that's what your act should look like. Okay, but by going through the process, there's just something about the preparation phase of getting ready for this one specific performance and the actual doing it that really pushes your magic to the next level. That's why I personally recommend it to those of my school. Actually, I've told all my students, if you want to do it, go for it. To the best of my abilities, I'll coach you, and I think your magic will be better for it. It doesn't necessarily mean that overnight you'll become a better magician, but it will force you to make your act, given your technical knowledge, given your performance abilities, it will force you to push yourself and take your magic to the next level. That's always a good thing. Now, why do most guys enter competition? The majority of magic competitors tend to be younger, between the age of 18 to 28. In the last 2 cycles, the best performers have usually been around the age of 24, 25, 26. They do have separate junior competitions for those under 18, and at the higher levels of magic competition, you don't see a lot of competitors over 30. There are some, not a lot, over 35, even fewer, and it's quite rare that you see magic competitors over 40. Having said that, things have changed. I've been watching since 2001 the development of competition magic. The level has skyrocketed, I've watched old VHS tapes of competitions from the 90s, and I know what a lot of the F.I.S.M World Championship winning acts from the 80s looked like. You can't compare it. They used to, just for example, not naming names, I remember seeing 15 to 18 years ago standard cups and balls. Standard, with the standard loads at the end, applause cue, pose, and hoping that he was going to get something. Obviously, otherwise he wouldn't have entered the contest and presented himself as a competitor. You will not get away with that. That's fine for your own internal group of buddies or at the city local level, but you have to have something unique, something the judges have never seen before, something mind-blowing on a technical level that even the judges can't follow, so that you do fool them. But the bottom line is the most important aspect is the overall entertainment value as a performance piece. How entertaining are you? So if you don't speak, your knowledge of choreography, movement, you better put in the hours with a dance coach. If it's a spoken act, like mental magic, a lot of card or close-up magic, you better know how to speak, minimum your own language. And a lot of guys neglect that. They think, well, if I'm American, Canadian, Australian, British, Irish, Scottish, English is my first language anyway, I'm just going to talk the way I always talk. Doesn't necessarily cut it. The importance or prevalence of English has made English the standard for almost all competitors from around the world. And then other than that, it's the real magic. Once the magic content is there, is really worth about, this is the way I view it, about 5%. Now, there are specific F.I.S.M scorecards according to the 8 categories, where if it's mental magic, it's more heavily on presentation. If it's manipulation, they're looking more at technically clean moves. So they do have a 30% or 20% or a 10% presentation and look or whatnot. But the way I've always seen it is, once the magic content is there as the bare minimum, whatever you're doing, any category, any style of magic, once the magic is there, what you think is the magic is 5% of the whole finished product. The other 95% of what I consider the real magic is projection, stage presence, charisma, presentation. All of this other really vague and hard to learn stuff, hard to teach stuff, which I call the real magic. And for those who have been watching these videos on my channel for a while, that's where I lay most of my emphasis in magic. It's my opinion. I mean, if you can do mind-blowing combination of 25 coin moves one after the other, and the average person says, yeah, I just saw it, he's hiding something between his fingers, they don't think it's magic. The way I do it, you can show one coin, tell everybody to watch this, have your sleeves rolled up, open up both hands and show both sides empty. If you do it cleanly, that's the most mind-blowing experience a lot of lay people will ever see. So those are just some of my views and thoughts on competition magic, because a couple of you guys did ask, so thank you for the questions. Please keep them coming in. Feel free to write comments, share your thoughts, share your ideas and questions for future talks like this, because apparently you guys are having fun not only watching me perform the magic, but also talking about it. And I've invested so much of my life and time and energy and soul into the art of magic. I very much enjoy sharing my experience and my knowledge in the magical arts. Now that magic is experiencing this huge wave of popularity. I'm 46 years old, I grew up in the 80s. 1983, I was 10. I never would have believed that we would be seeing so many Asian guys on mainstream North American television. Never mind that, I never thought I'd be seeing so many card tricks on mainstream North American television. Seeing so many Asian guys doing mind-blowing card tricks on mainstream American television. It's like a dream come true. Not only that I'm still alive during this era to see this happen, but that I'm fortunate enough still to be really alive and able to participate and be a part of this. So the guys who are doing all this amazing stuff, Shin Lim, Eric Chen, they are 20 years younger than me, but Ryan Hayashi's not quite finished yet, so more to come. We're not done yet. Thanks for watching. See you in the comment section. I do read them all, and I try to get back to as many as I can. And cut.